The biggest reason your startup isn't growing is you're still in planning mode. I've told you this before, but I'll say it again. It's better to execute than to brainstorm and contemplate and overthink and not actually do anything. That is the number one killer of momentum. And I had to learn that all too well as I first launched into Tribe. I was a recovering perfectionist. And I realized that nothing's ever going to be perfect, but I was definitely known to be a bit of a perfectionist. And so that is crippling in the world of entrepreneurialism or starting your own company. It just honestly can get in the way of progress. So I now strive for excellence, but never perfection. But I also think action is far more palatable and will make you money than contemplation. And so I wanted to just kind of talk through that because I've learned through my own process that this is the number one killer of momentum is overthinking. And I want to share with you how to break free from the constant planning cycle and actually get things done, get things launched. It's literally as easy as just putting one step in front of the other. There is no perfect science here, there's no silver bullet. It's literally just saying, okay, I have planned this thing till I'm blue in the face. Now it's time to execute. And I just did a post on this, that thing you've been talking about, execute. And actually, I'll take it even a step further. It's slightly controversial, but it can be really annoying. If you have peers or friends or family and you keep talking about something that you want to launch or a business that you want to do, or, oh, I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that, but you never do, that just gets annoying over time. So even if that's motivation for you to get out of your own way and just start doing things, even if you're not fully prepared, you know how many times this year and last I did things that I was not fully prepared for, and some of them didn't do well and some of them did phenomenal, and both had the same amount of action on my part. So it's either do the thing and see how it lands, or you do nothing and you've got nothing, right? So break free from the planning cycle. Actually get things done. The biggest reason, like I said, your startup isn't growing or the business that you just launched or the idea that you have is because you're still in planning mode, and nothing is going to happen if you don't take action. So starting with, ideas are important. You definitely have to harness your ideas and really think through that. But I would give yourself a limited amount of time to do that. So let's say it's a day or a week. We have this thing called one day VIP intensive, and it actually is intended to force executives of companies to determine in advance their bottlenecks for their company, what's currently getting in the way of their scale and their growth. And so we predetermine that. But I'm using this as an example of how it would apply to you. So let's just say you give yourself a day, much like I just described. You predetermine either your ideas or what you want to get out of the day or what's getting in your way of progress or action. And then you give yourself a day to go through the whole process of planning. But then after that day, you also schedule the following day to actually execute the plan. And that's when we were building out one day VIP intensives, we purposely put in there, this is not another brainstorming session. No one needs another brainstorming session. Sometimes it's just a matter of showing up and doing the thing to really see if it lands versus just constantly contemplating, ruminating, thinking, overthinking. That doesn't get you anywhere. And that's not an entrepreneurial spirit. So I wouldn't think most people that are entrepreneurs are even built that way. But if you are, if you're currently contemplating something or you have an idea that you haven't really executed on, let this be the gentle nudge. Not so gentle, but let this be the nudge. Action is what's going to get it done. Nothing else. No one, as Mel Robbins always says, no one's going to save you. No one's coming to save you, I think is her actual quote. I don't watch her that often, but that is kind of a famous line of hers. No one's coming. So if you want to do this thing and you have this idea, get it done. I don't care if it's ugly at first. Sometimes ugly actually sells better than perfect. I have learned this the hard way. I like everything to look really pretty and aesthetically pleasing because I'm a brand company and a brand consultant. So that matters to me. But ultimately, it can get in the way of execution. And so sometimes I have to give myself a certain time limit where I'm willing to do the planning. And then I just have to commit a day in my calendar and say, I'm doing this. Like, for instance, today was an entire day of filming. You think that is on a long list of things I need to get done? Probably not, but it has to get done because social media content and content for our company is important to us. So I have to just pencil in time on my calendar where I'm dedicated and committed to doing this. I could continue to kick the can down the curb and not do it and not show up for my company, but what is that really going to get me? So when you're in idea mode, just realize that's your comfort zone. You're not actually putting yourself out there and no one's going to judge you. And so for that, it's very comfortable. But does it make you any money? 100% no. I also think strategy can get in your way when it's counterbalanced with action. So if you've got a ton of strategy, it's really worthless without execution. So I'm a big fan of strategy. I talk about strategy all day long. I'm certainly not minimizing the need for it. But once you have it built, then turn your attention to execution and action. And then the last thing I'll say on this topic is why done beats perfect in content and in go to market and really in any form of business all the time. Um, I've learned through people that I follow and kind of have used as inspiration for my own company. None of them show up perfect. In fact, most of them show up really imperfect. I'm sitting there half the time going, well, I wouldn't have done it that way. But guess what? They're out executing me. So whatever. The perfection thing is just something we're putting on ourselves that no one else expects. I think the point of talking about this was, if you have an idea or if there's something that you really want to do, just go do it. Stop talking about it. Go do it. And if you need help, and I try to avoid selling in any of my video content, but if you need help, I didn't have really anyone helping me and I launched my company, but what I learned, I take that back. I did take a course right when I left corporate. I took a course called, I think it's Business Accelerator. I don't remember the actual name of it. It was far too expensive in hindsight, but it got me to focus on executing. And it actually was kind of like an accountability partner because I was so used to being conditioned in a corporate environment of clocking in every day. I didn't clock in, but I was on someone's payroll. So there was expectations put on me. And my days were kind of accounted for me. And I didn't just have an open forum to do whatever I wanted. Well, when you become an entrepreneur, no one is expecting anything from you. And so you really do have to put constraints on your time and also milestones that you want to achieve and give yourself timelines for that. And that's ultimately what I did and how I launched Tribe in 30 days. And I've had so many people ask me on how I built that company as quickly as I did that I ended up making a course about it. It's called the 30-Day Entrepreneur. Not the best branding that I've ever done, but it's pretty straightforward. It's how to be an entrepreneur coming from, let's say, a corporate office environment, or maybe you were a stay-at-home mom previously, or whatever your origin story is. You can literally start a company in 30 days. I know because I did it myself. And if you need help, that's actually kind of my starter course. I have a much bigger course called Make Your Brand a Bird Masterclass, which is much more involved. It's an 8-week course. It's got weekly coaching. It's much more substantial, but that's kind of phase 2. But if you're in this ideation space right now and you really just need to take your idea and get it to execute, I would strongly recommend you going to 30dayentrepreneur.tribeagency.org and take a peek at my course. I think it's financially palatable. And I think it's very productive for people that are in that idea mode because it'll force you to go week by week. It's a 4-week module. Actually, it's self-paced. I'm not involved in that one. I just built it and set it aside. So you can follow those modules on your own timing as quickly or as slowly as you want. I would recommend quick just because I think that's when things get done. Whole point of this conversation. But 30-Day Entrepreneur is a possible opportunity for you to take action. If you've got that idea and it's just been kind of talked about or you've been thinking about it, but you don't know where to start, that would be a good place to start. Just a little plug. Sorry, that was not intended, but it felt like the timing was right. All right, so I'll just leave you with this. Execution beats perfection every single time. You don't need another brainstorming session. You need motion. You need action. That funnel that you've been obsessing about and tweaking, or that website, trust me, I've been there, that you continue to finesse and have in pause mode or hide mode that you have not published, ship it, do it, publish it, post it, get it done. I've been there. I'm a recovering perfectionist, striving for excellence. That should be my logo. Just do it. Publish it. What's the worst thing that can happen? You can always go back to the drawing board, but I think the winners versus the losers, the common thread of the winners is they're moving forward every day. They're getting shit done. They're doing what they say and saying what they do. So the offer you're sitting on, launch it. Brands are built by people who execute. All right. I think that's a pretty big lecture, which was not intended. It was really just a motivation of, I hear you. I've been there. I feel you. I know it's scary to put yourself out there or to put your idea or to test your idea or to even show up. But I can tell you from my own experience, when I started showing up regularly on every facet of my business and just getting stuff done, that's when the magic happened in my company and in my business, and it's still happening. So hopefully that inspires you. Obviously, drop me a comment or a DM if you have any questions. I'm happy to talk through it. Or if you want to learn more about 30 Day Entrepreneur, I'll drop that in the body of this description. But I think that's it. I just want to say, think about the one thing you've been stuck on. Put it in the comments if that helps you be accountable. And then let's get it unlocked. Let's move forward.